Nebraska. And it was Cade McConnell and Skylar Locklear. We have 217 votes in since yesterday's poll. 72.8% went Cade McConnell. 27.2% went Skylar Locklear. So that essentially means nearly 3 out of every 4 people who have cast their vote went for the incumbent quarterback, number 11.
Yeah, very interesting poll results. I think that it's a popularity contest at this point right now, Steve, because no one is really playing armchair quarterback because no one's seen this team other than the spring game. That's the only time you can actually say, yeah, I've watched this team play, and that's my assessment of Cade versus Skylar or vice versa. That's why I choose Skylar over Cade because of this. But I would say after looking at this one right here, Cade is definitely the fan favorite among the two, at least for our listeners. And yeah, I mean, hey, if you spent an internship with us, I wouldn't be that surprised.
I want to read the comments, okay? I want to read the comments. Schoolyard Sports with Lane Frank says Cade McConnell all the way.
I love it. Yes.
That was good.
He needs to break this news.
He does. He does. Pinky. He played under Coach Walden at Austin P and understands Coach Walden's system. I personally like Cade and want him to be the starter, but I got to go with experience at this time. Either way picks up.
That's hard to, yeah, who's the UD pick?
What does that mean with experience? Because Scotty has no experience playing. He's just been in the system. Cade's got the experience. I'm so confused by Pinky.
I know, and I feel a little like Pinky betrayed Cade. He's taking selfies with him. He waited for Cade over here to take a picture with him and his pops, and then he goes with the other guy if this is what he actually meant. But maybe he did. Maybe he's going for Cade. I can't really tell based on that message.
I mean, Pinky's playing both sides. He's playing both sides.
I'm not surprised.
Grand Paul at Paul C. Casares gets in on Twitter and X. Skylar wasn't brought in to sit.
Good point.
Very good point. I mean, you could be right on that one. Skylar wasn't brought in to sit. Kim Huber. Both. They are both great quarterbacks that both need playing time. Work together, says Kim.
So the thought about both of them needing playing time, I don't disagree with that. You got on one side a redshirt junior quarterback, on the other side a redshirt sophomore quarterback. Both of them haven't had a lot of playing time when you combine the two, although Cade played 6 of the last games for the Miners, 7 of the last games for the Miners. So it should be interesting to see what happens.
I agree. Ty Tugaruga on Twitter. Locklear was more reliable for me against LSU. I guess he's playing college football 25, and he felt like Locklear did better against LSU than Cade did.
That's funny. Now you're really clawing at it right there. Not able to watch any practices, so let me play a little EA college football and make the comparison.
Burgundy Gold Talk gets in. McConnell looked good in action last season and improved, in my opinion, by the spring game. Coupling that with the trust from the returning guys, and I think you have to give him a shot. Skylar is a redshirt sophomore after all. Okay. Thank you, Burgundy Gold Talk. This comes from Cultura. Uncle Rico. I'm confident that coach will make the right decision. Let him cook. I'm planning to buy tickets and support the Miners. All that I expect is for every Miner on the field to hit an opponent in the mouth on every play. Let's go, pack the bowl. Thank you very much, Cultura. Good to hear back from you. Pick My Axe 915. Scotty Walden's offense relies on a mobile guy, so I would say Locklear. Regardless, though, we have had a lack of experience starting at quarterback. I'm not watching practice, though, and McConnell did look better during the spring game.
Can I just say the Uncle Rico nickname was fantastic from Cultura, going back to that previous post?
Yeah, that was good. Uncle Rico.
Uncle Rico for Skylar Locklear? That's I got to ask him next time I see him at practice, Skylar, if he likes that nickname.
Yeah, ask about Uncle Rico. You're right. Go ahead, meme my day on Twitter and X. Anyone that can answer this question legitimately has too much time on their hands. I guarantee that 98% of El Pasoans have no idea how these guys have been doing in camp. Go ahead, meme my day. 100% of El Pasoans have no idea how these guys are doing in camp, including us. We don't know. We're not there watching, just like you. That's why this Twitter poll is complete BS, but we still wanted to gauge the opinion of everybody to vote. That's the whole concept of this.
Right. I mean, and it's all that anybody talks about when it comes to storylines going into the season. Today, we're talking about Dylan Raiola, named starting quarterback by Nebraska.
True freshman.
And he's like the all-world type of quarterback, all-world type of prospect.
Yep.
But for UTEP, it's a secret. And I don't know, as this starts to continue to drag on, I wonder, is this becoming more of a distraction than it is a deception
for
this team right here?
Could be. Z. Nelson says, whichever one you don't want to get hurt. UTEP is losing by 28+.
Yeah, I agree with that. Whatever the spread is, I got the over for Nebraska.
Yeah. And by the way, let me say this. Apparently, according to people I was looking at on Twitter and X, okay, Scotty Walden, when he was at Austin Peay, has done the same thing he's doing now this fall camp at UTEP. In fact, he wouldn't even name a starter until the opening game. Not opening week, opening game. So that means we might not know until next Saturday when they actually kick off in Lincoln who the starting quarterback is going to be.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I know that this has been a subject of discussion among the team off the field, which isn't the greatest thing, Steve. Like, if you're having all your discussions off the field, like, I wonder who's going to be the next quarterback, I think it can get distracting. I'm just going to be honest.
Adrian at Enemy Win the number 3 says UTEP should treat this game like a preseason game, but Cade should start because you don't want the moment to be too big for Skyler. Play the ones for the first quarter and then the backups. Let me say this, Adrian, and this is very important to understand this, okay? Scotty Walden's first UTEP game is nationally televised. He is not going to treat this like a preseason game. He's going to want to go out there, shock the world, and play his best until he knows the game is out of hand. And even then, who knows what he's going to do. I do not anticipate Scotty Walden taking out the ones unless the game gets completely out of hand. He wants to not embarrass himself on national television. He wants to go out there and give a true freshman quarterback playing his first ever D1 game a good run for his money, and he's hoping that they can do to Nebraska what Austin Peay did to Tennessee in the first half of that game last year, which was lead it at halftime.
Last year, UTEP went into Northwestern as favorites, and they went into the halftime in a tied game 7-7. So that was a game that they were favored to win, and they ended up losing 38-7. They didn't score another point in that game. So I worry about, first half could be exciting. There could be some fun moments, all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, how competitive is this actually going to be?
That's a good question. At Bovine Fecal Matters says this: both quarterbacks are about equal in NCAA 25. So it doesn't matter which quarterback starts because they're both going to play and they're both going to get hurt. Ooh.
Oh, my gosh. That's terrible.
Bovine Fecal Matter throwing some fecal shots on that tweet.
Man, that's tough to even predict right there, man. I don't even want to predict any kind of injuries to anybody on this team. I would just say that as far as UTEP goes, and when you're talking about durability in the quarterback position, I can only really remember the bowl game season where they go to the PUBG New Mexico Bowl with Gavin Hardison, the last season where UTEP had a starter start the season and then finish the season unscathed. I mean, you talk about 2022, they go up against UTSA. It's Calvin Brownholtz leading the team in that final game. You talk the 2020 pandemic year. There was a COVID outbreak or whatever, and then Brownholtz is finishing out the season that year as well. I mean, then you talk about Kyle Loxley, never finished out a season with the Miners, didn't start one season for them either. So yeah, it's tough to find consistency and durability at that quarterback spot when you're at a school like UTEP.
Do we know, by the way, last year at Austin Peay, did they have the same quarterback play the whole game?
Yes.
Of the whole season?
Their quarterback was a grad transfer, Steve, and they could tell us all they want about how there was a quarterback competition last year, but their guy pretty much had it the whole season, never relinquished it.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering about. If there was any kind of a, did the quarterback get hurt or anything like that, or did the guy play the whole season? And it sounds to me like you just answered the question. They won 9 games. I mean, I'm looking. This guy was 242 out of 362 for 3,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, 10 picks. That was Mike DiLiello. And then Skyler was 3 of 4 for 59 yards and a touchdown. So, I mean, that's ultimately what you're talking about. And by the way, just so you know, kind of interesting, Trey Goodman, 1 of 4, 54 yards and a touchdown. Maybe we'll get a little trickeration from Trey Goodman during the season.
Listen to this. Trey Goodman played quarterback in high school, did it in Atlanta at a very high level. Xavier Smith, safety for the Miners, also played quarterback in high school. So you got some former QBs at other positions.
I like it. All right, just getting started here on a Wednesday edition of the show. We got Jay Jaffe coming up next right after Charlie 1 with traffic.
Soon, El Paso Metroplex, a few rough spots that I want to go over. First of all, on the west side, we have South Desert and Artcraft on a crash. See the time at the PD there, South Desert and Artcraft.
It's got about 5 weeks left or so in their regular season. They're winding down. Here to talk a little baseball and beer with us is our man, Jay Jaffe, who joins us every week from Fangraphs.com. Wrote about the Mets today, which we'll talk about because they got a big walk-off win thanks to Jesse Winker. But, Jay, first off, before we get started, I got to tell you, I saw your post on Twitter and X earlier this week about your Yankee Stadium seats that you share. If I was living in the New York area, I would have absolutely bought those first-row Section 400 seats off of you a few days ago when you were offering those up to anybody that wanted to claim them.
Yeah, well, sometimes they're tough to give away, but nobody took it. And actually, right now we're trading them in. Our ticket group, we have a bunch of tickets that we haven't used. Some from rainouts, some from games we couldn't hit, and we're trading them in so we can get all 4 members of our ticket group together for the first time all season.
Nice.
So it's all going to work out fine. Yeah, they're great seats. I mean, for as much as I do complain about Yankee Stadium, and I have been known to complain about Yankee Stadium, especially the concessions, I do think that our seats are good and good for the money.
By the way, if you had to choose for soft ice cream, Mr. Softy or Carvel?
I'd probably go Carvel. I don't really have great associations with Mr. Softy for some reason, but so I'd go Carvel.
Good, me too. I grew up on Carvel as a kid, and when I can get it around here, when they used to bring it in from there used to be these little kind of like Carvel on the goes with the machine that would serve the chocolate and vanilla. It was great. And by the way, we can't get a Fudgy the Whale cake anywhere in El Paso, so at least you have that advantage. If you wanted to, get a Carvel cake for Robin's birthday, you can do that and go get her a Fudgy the Whale, which we can't do around here. So I'm a little jealous about that.
I've actually never done that. I've never had a Fudgy the Whale myself, and my daughter, whose birthday is actually coming up soon here, is not chocolate is not her first choice. So, which surprises me, given that both of her parents are huge chocolate fans. So.
Do me a favor.
What are you going to do?
One of these days, just, pick it up if you have people over and try it out. Give me the review on how you like it. If you've never had a Fudgy the Whale cake, let me know what you think, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Fair enough. Now, let's stay in the New York department because the Yankees today received some bad news when they found out that Luis Gil was going to be going on the IL. This is not what the Yankees need since they've been playing just 500 baseball, and now he's going on the 15-day IL with a back strain. I mean, let's talk about the heel injury and kind of the impact that's going to have on this club.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team whose rotation has already really scuffled. I mean, Heel did a fantastic job early in the season when Garrett Cole was on the injured list with a nerve problem in his elbow, and was a big reason why the Yankees had the best record for much of the first half of the season. he's coming back. He's coming back from a season in which he barely pitched. However, it was always apparent that he was not going to be able to shoulder a full workload, and at times we've seen his performance regress. This is unfortunate, especially because right now they're still without Clark Schmidt, who did some good work but then suffered a lat strain. But really nobody besides Cole in that rotation has been pitching very well. Marcus Stroman has struggled. Nestor Cortez has struggled. They didn't really augment themselves at the deadline the way that they could have, passing up Jack Flaherty because of his medical reports. This is going to be a blow for them. I don't know how much Heel really could have helped them the rest of the way, given how many innings he's thrown. But you'd like to have the option to figure out something instead of having pieces taken off the board.
I'll tell you the even weirder thing right now is that, they're playing 500 ball in their last 10 games. Well, guess what? The good news is I guess the Orioles have been just as bad. So right now it's a toss-up between these two teams. Orioles, lost another pitcher to the IL also. They've had a really rough go this season, knowing that Zach Eflin is now on the IL with a shoulder injury. So these two teams are going to be limping to the finish line.
I mean, they've been limping for a while now. As I wrote on Monday, the Yankees have a sub-500 record over their last 50-something games here.
Yep.
This is not just a 2-week slump for them. This is getting to be a substantial chunk of their season. I mean, they got off to that hot start, and they've been playing sub-500 ball since. And with the Orioles, it's pretty much the same. I mean, their pitching has really been a disaster since the start of July. They lost Kyle Bradish to Tommy John surgery, John Means to Tommy John surgery, Tyler Wells to UCL revision surgery. They traded for Eflin, and he's the better of their two deadline acquisitions. Trevor Rogers being the other one who's been kind of shaky. So, I think that losing him for a while could hurt the Orioles as much as losing Heel could for the Yankees, given, I think, the expectations for how much work those two pitchers were going to shoulder over the remainder of the season.
Good story from Jay a couple of days ago. Even the supposed powerhouses have struggled lately. That's up at Fangraphs.com, along with his latest uneven progress as the Mets try to escape their early season hole. Well, Jay, they won today. Like I said, Jesse Winker, the walk-off win. Francisco Alvarez did it a couple of days ago, so they're getting late-inning heroics, but still, this is a ball club right now that finds themselves a couple back from Atlanta, who's trying to figure out how to replace, Austin Riley in the lineup. And the Mets are going to have to do better than just playing 500 ball if they're going to try to win that third wild card spot.
Yeah, I picked the wrong game to go to last night, I guess. 3-game series against the Orioles. 2 walk-off homers, and the night they don't hit one is the one that I covered, but which I think sums up what this experience has been like. They were 11 games below 500 as of June 2nd, and they've done a very good job of climbing out of that hole. They have the fourth best record in the majors since then, but it hasn't been enough because they've kind of stumbled in August. They're 9-10 this month. The door's been opened for them by the Braves and all their injuries, but the Mets just haven't been able to walk through it because they've got some injuries of their own. They're in their rotation and some key slumps at times, and it's just they're battling out there. I'll give them credit for that, but their progress has not been a one-way trajectory upward, and the Padres and the Diamondbacks have both been red hot, the two hottest teams in the majors over that span. And, they've tightened the NL West race in addition to the playoff race. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds down the stretch.
I want to talk Pods and D-backs with you when we come back. We'll also get your beer pick of the week a little bit later to wrap up the segment. But before we keep things moving with Jay, let's go back to Adrian, standing by with this bottom of the hour Sports Center update. Thank you very much. As we continue right now with Jay Jaffe, who joins us again from Fangraphs.com. By the way, Giants, as Adrian mentioned, Jay, this was a 2-2 game going into the ninth. They give up 4 runs. If there's one thing that's just destroyed the Giants this year, it's their closer. I mean, Camilo Doval goes to AAA, and now today they blow it again, this time to the White Sox. Miller just couldn't get anybody out, and that was the big damage. And then I think they got Spencer Bivens comes in and also gives up some runs. So, yeah, this is it's an issue for the Giants. If they could have had a better closer late in games, they might be with the Diamondbacks and Padres right now.
I think the I think the Giants have more problems than that, but you're right. Doval, who was really untouchable just a couple of years ago, has struggled this year. But, he's not alone, and you could point to any one of a number of closers around the league as, why these teams aren't better. That was actually one of the themes of the piece that I wrote. Right now, the discourse here in New York is around Yankees closer Clay Holmes, who's got 10 blown saves this year, and yet his numbers overall, ERA and strikeout rate and other stuff, are just as good as usual. So it's all timing though, and it's rough when these guys melt down. But the Giants just haven't had the depth. I mean, they've got some good pitchers on that staff, including Taylor and Tyler Rogers, the twins, but they have not been able to find something that works in the ninth inning, and that's, like you said, their undoing.
Jay, right now the Brewers are hot. They are, they've won 6 in a row. They're 73-52. But I want to get back to the Pods and D-backs for a second. It's a fun race right now with the Dodgers leading San Diego by 3, Arizona by 4, and considering how the Padres usually melt when they get to this time of year, they've done the exact opposite this year. They've kind of caught fire, and they've catapulted them up into the wild card race and a wild card spot right now. And considering they've done this with Darvish away from the team, Musgrove spending most of the year on the IL, and Tatis being gone the last couple of months, it is a phenomenal story that the Pods are not even close to being at full strength, and here they are as a playoff team.
Yeah, they've gotten some really timely performances, particularly Jackson Merrill, who I think right now is making a good case for NL Rookie of the Year, moving from shortstop to take over center field, a position he'd never played before, and handling it defensively and offensively, becoming one of the team's better hitters. That's been big. So has the rebound of Jurickson Profar, who was just about the worst hitter in the major leagues last year, was 2 wins below replacement by some measures, and this year has turned it around and has been one of the best hitters on the team, probably the best hitter on the team, in fact, and one of the better hitters in the league, and really is kind of living up to that former number 1 prospect billing. And you got guys like Xander Bogaerts and Manny Machado who've dug themselves out of some early slumps. Machado's elbow surgery being a factor there. And one of my favorite stories is Matt Waldron, the knuckleballer, who has solidified his spot in the majors. He's fallen on some rough times lately, but he has been very solid for them, 3rd on the team in innings. And after several years with no knuckleballer in the majors, it's refreshing to have one back on the scene.
As far as Arizona goes, look, this team went to the series last year, so you got to realize that some people thought it was a fluke. They're trying to show you that it wasn't. Pitching-wise, I mean, Zach Gallen and Brandon Pfaadt have both been pretty steady, and so has Ryan Nelson. It's been a nice 1-2-3 punch, so much so that Jordan Montgomery, who has not pitched well since coming back from the injury, is still trying to find his groove. And Corbin Carroll has not been good at all this year. He's not been his normal self. So I guess Ketel Marte was carrying the team offensively. He goes on the IL with the injury. And now I'm interested to see if Arizona can stay hot and stay in the race.
Yeah, they've gotten multiple injuries right now. Marte was really, I think, maybe on the outskirts of the MVP race before he went on the IL. Christian Walker, they've been without him for since the deadline, actually. They traded for Josh Bell, and he's done a pretty good job, although most of that was the first week he was there. He had a couple of 2-homer games. I see he hasn't homered since. And Gabriel Moreno, their good young catcher, is on the IL as well. So they've got they've got their work cut out to keep pace here. But like you said, they've climbed back into the race, and the pitching has come around, been able to withstand just how bad Montgomery has been. But boy, you look at Montgomery, you look at Blake Snell and the struggles he's had, although he's kind of come around, and it's pretty clear that these late holdouts just generally don't work out all that well. Put these pitchers in a tough position here, and really, I think it's going to take a bite out of their earning power going forward.
I agree with you completely. What do you have coming up here on Fangraphs the next couple of days?
Right now, I'm looking at Michael Kopech and his big turnaround. When he was traded to the Dodgers from the White Sox, he had an ERA in the high fours. But the Dodgers have shown that they have a very good eye for turning pitchers around. You look at Evan Phillips, Tyler Anderson, Ryan Brazier, Andrew Heaney. Some of these pitchers are no longer with the team and haven't found that success elsewhere, but when they were Dodgers, they pitched very well because the team had a very good understanding of what could work for them and how to fix them. And so far, they have done that with Kopech, who's got 9.1 scoreless innings with the team since coming over, allowing just one hit and one walk, two hits and two walks, and is on a 15-plus inning streak, scoreless, going back to his last couple of weeks with the White Sox. So I'm looking into how he's done it. And I may also look at the Padres' penchant for late-inning magic. They've been kind of the cardiac kids lately, and that's certainly been one of the more fun aspects of their story.
Considering Phillips couldn't hold the closer job down in Los Angeles, I know they've tried Hudson a little bit, and now Gratterall's back on the IL. Maybe Kopech is the answer for them at closer, and the Dodgers just need somebody to keep shutting the door in the ninth inning as those bats keep producing.
Yeah, I think it's more likely that it's just going to be a committee-like thing for Dave Roberts. He'll do it based on matchups. Kopech saved 2 games in a row last week against the Cardinals, but since then Hudson and Phillips have each gotten a turn. I think it's just it's all going to be who they think matches up best. And Kopech, for his part, he said, "Look, I've played just about every role in the major leagues. I just want you don't have to call me the closer. Just tell me when to go in." And I think that's the perfect attitude. We've seen how well that's worked in other places. Milwaukee particularly comes to mind, with their just go in and get outs attitude, and I think it's going to work for the Dodgers here. They certainly need it too.
I'll tell you what's fascinating to me. I don't know what's a better turnaround, the Kopech turnaround or somehow the Gavin Lux season turnaround.
Oh, that's been a great story too. I'll probably look at that at some point too, but I don't want to monopolize all of the Dodgers coverage at Fangraphs.
I'll say this, just so you know, it looked like he was going nowhere. And then in July, he hit .299 with an OPS of .937. And in August, he's hit .323 with an OPS of .979. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's been murdering the ball.
So,
he's been murdering the ball.
Let's wrap it up. Beer pick of the week, Jay.
Okay, so I spent last week vacationing with my parents and my brother and his family in Hilton Head, South Carolina, and so that gave me a chance to sample some beers that I don't normally have, and one was actually kind of a reunion with an old friend. It's the Westbrook IPA, which is brewed in, let's see, where is it? Somewhere in South Carolina here. I'm not sure actually where the brewery is. Anyway, this is a classic IPA that I really enjoyed. I probably hadn't had it in about 3 years. A little bit more on the bitter side, but still a very easy drinking experience. 6.8 ABV, doesn't taste like it. Really enjoyed getting a 6-pack of this. Wish I'd brought some back because it's harder to find up here.
Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, Jay.
Yeah, it's a little bit further north than we were. Yeah. We flew into Savannah and drove about 45 minutes to Hilton Head. Just a beautiful area. Got to do some horseback riding, some fishing. My daughter caught her first fish and rode her first horse, things like that. It was pretty cool.
What kind of fish did she catch? Give us the details.
It was a trout of some sort, and it was about a foot long.
Wow.
And she was very excited. She was more excited to hold the bait, the little wriggly fish that gets stuck on the hook for the most part, than she was to do some of the fishing. And she was a little bit sad because she didn't actually do all of the hooking of the fish and the reeling it in. She had to have some help, but it still counts as her first fish. We had a guide who was excellent at working with the kids. My niece, however, stole the show. She caught a skate, or two skates and a baby shark, bonnet head shark.
Wow,
just some wild stuff.
That's incredible.
As well as some redfish and some trout.
Excellent. Well, you're right. She did. You catch a shark, you're still in the show for sure. That's right.
Yeah.
All right, Jay. Good stuff. We'll talk to you again right back here next week. Thanks for the time.
All right. Sounds great.
Jay Jaffe, folks, giving us the lowdown on his trip out to Hilton Head, South Carolina. Drinking beer, catching fish, riding horses. Sounds like a great time for him. We'll come back, wrap up hour 1 of 2. Sports Talk continues. Here on Sports Talk as we continue, Ben Wallis should be joining us momentarily. Excited about that. Also this hour, our Football Friday Night Fall Football Countdown brought to you by EPCC. In fact, we had to highlight the Parkland Matadors today, and head coach Lee McWhorter, who last season went 6-5, 3-2 in by-district. They were a by-district finalist. And this year, they've got 9 out of their 22 players back, 5 on offense, 4 on defense. And you think about what's happening with them, this is kind of interesting. You know, I'm a little confused about this. So, Parkland moved up to 6A Division I for 2 seasons?
Steve,
or moved down?
Moved up to 5A Division I.
5A, I got
so
you. Yeah.
5A Division I is still what we're talking about. 4-team district. We paired it up this today with Parkland and Bel Air to just wrap it up. Yesterday we talked about El Dorado. Monday we gave you kind of a early snapshot on Americas, who also moved down. So while Americas, El Dorado moved down to Division I, and that is out of the 5A ranks. You see the Parkland Matadors and Bel Air, they move up to this division right here. And Parkland's going to struggle this season. It's Lee McWhorter coming back with not a lot of guys on this team who are returning. Caleb Martinez will lead the way, running back, linebacker. He'll be the guy. Isaac Rimada, 6'2" defensive lineman, also a guy to watch on the defensive side of the ball. Last year they were 6-5, Steve. I don't know how they're going to do this time around.
I don't know either. I think there's definitely some questions about that, and something to keep an eye on for Parkland. As far as Bel Air goes, and Gary Ricoder, look, this had a great season last year. 8-3, 3-2 in by district, and again, but also he's losing almost everybody. Only 4 back on each side of the ball. That's another tough spot for Bel Air.
Yeah, this is another rebuild right here. The Highlanders, Gary Ricoder, he moves over from Riverside, where he led that Rangers team, to by-district titles galore. They were rulers of the 4A ranks. Now Gary Ricoder taking on a new tough task in rebuilding Bel Air. So let's see how this works right here. He'll have some interesting players. I like Jason Blair. I like some of their younger juniors and sophomores who are also on their squad.
I agree with you. Okay, that's brought to you by El Paso Community College. Not just a classroom, but many programs are workforce training. You can get certification in as little as 12 months. Not to mention, you can go by the Valle Verde campus till 7 p.m. this week through Saturday to sign up for fall classes at El Paso Community College. All right, let's welcome into the program right now the head coach of the UTEP volleyball team. We're talking about Ben Wallis. Welcome back. Good to see you. Hope you had a great summer, Coach.
Oh, man, we did. We had a good summer. Got to do some traveling with my family and spend some time with my kiddos and get our crap together for some exciting fall volleyball for 2024 UTEP volleyball version.
Where'd you go? Where'd you visit?
Took my family and my in-laws out to Puerto Peñasco in Rocky Point, Mexico, and then I took my family across the country to Charlotte, North Carolina, where my parents live.
Wow, nice.
And then we took them to the Outer Banks for their 50th wedding anniversary with the rest of my family. So we had a lot of like just get away and spend time with the family. It was great.
Sounds amazing, and probably something you haven't done in quite a while.
A long time, man. It was since we handed the beach volleyball team over to Daniel Fu, and he's been announced as the head coach. I got a little bit of time to breathe and got a little bit of a summer. It was nice.
I was going to say, that probably is the biggest story of the summer, not the vacation with the family, but the fact that beach volleyball now has someone in command. You've kind of been there for Daniel since he came on board, and now turning the program over to him gives you a chance to just concentrate on the task at hand, which is winning Conference USA for volleyball.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really refreshed right now. I mean, I'm just able to kind of really concentrate on my team and our indoor volleyball team, and I loved the experience of being with the beach group and helping grow a young and exciting new program with Daniel. And so handing it over to him and going, Daniel, you're the man. Let me help you with anything I can. But now I just get my eyes on my staff, on my players, and be able to focus on indoor volleyball and winning this conference. And it's really refreshing. And I feel really invigorated. I feel like I got a lot of energy to get this team through a tough grind of a season.
Good. As far as the offseason goes, how difficult was it to try to keep your roster together, or did everybody want to come back and run it back this year?
Yeah, I mean, the good part about being here in El Paso is that we take such good care of our players. I mean, that's one of the things that I can tell any recruit that comes here is when you come here, whether you make it here and play 4 or 5 years, or so let me give you here's a good idea of like what it's like to play for UTEP volleyball. Beatrice Gennari, who was a freshman for us last year, an Italian middle, came in and played for us and had a spectacular freshman year. It was awesome to be around. It was a breath of fresh air. She fit in great here. Everybody loved her. The day we lost to Wichita State in the NIBC finals, that night she came into our office and said, Coach, I love it here. I love our staff. I love our team, but I want to go play somewhere else where I can play because I'm sitting behind 2 stars, and I know that it's probably going to be another year before I can play, so I'm going to go transfer. So she left. Her mom sent me an email, and her dad sent me an email about 2 weeks before the season started, and just to say we're long-time and full-time minor family, like for the rest of our life. Anytime you guys come to Europe, you come to our house, and we'll take care of you guys.
Wow.
We loved our time there because they came and saw Beatrice play last year. They flew in from Milan, Italy to come watch her. Beatrice loves you guys. She's cheering you on. We are minor fans for the rest of our lives. We love the minor family, and we can't wait to see what you guys are going to do this year. And then today, on my birthday, Beatrice Gennari texted me and said, Coach, love you. Happy birthday. Miss you guys. I hope everything's going well.
That's very cool.
That's awesome. Like, that makes me happy. Even if you can't play in our program and you want to go somewhere else, like, you're going to come here and we're going to treat you the right way. And so that's why we don't deal with a lot of those issues. We just take good care of our players, and also winning cures a lot of that shit.
Happy birthday. There you go. Happy birthday, Coach. That's exactly
Happy birthday,
right.
Coach.
Yeah, 46 years old, and then not smart enough to remember not to cuss on the airwaves. So
it happens to everybody, so don't worry about that. You got it out of the way early in the interview. Got it out of the way. That's good. Oh, by the way, where did Beatrice end up going? Where'd she transfer to?
She went to Northeastern University in Boston. So she's a plane ride home from Milan. So she gets a hop, skip, and a jump to be home. She's going to play a lot there. She's going to help them win a lot, and she likes it. She's enjoying it right now.
You only have a handful of seniors on this roster.
Yes, sir.
Now.
Yeah, we're super young. We look at some days in the gym, we look really young some days, and then today's like today, we look like we're ready to take the next step and win this sucker, because when we were flying around, we were digging it great. We're physical, we're athletic, and we got a lot of competitive human beings that want to win. So I'm looking forward to playing somebody other than ourselves on Saturday.
Do you feel like when you look at this team, and you talk about how young you are, but with a lot of guys, a lot of girls coming back, you tell me, does the makeup feel very similar to last season, or do you feel like you've got a different look, a different vibe this year?
We definitely have a different vibe. The makeup is different in one way. We brought in Sakira as a grad transfer, so she came with this maturity and physicality to her. She knew what college volleyball was like. She knew what she needed to do. We just needed to put the pieces together for her. And so having Alianza, who was a fifth-year grad person, she knew what college volleyball was like. And so losing those 2 veterans, it feels different, but we have really good, young, talented volleyball players that are hyper-competitive. They're very skilled. And so it's just a lot more learning right now than it is like actual competition volleyball. But when we really compete, we've got 19 good volleyball players in there, and we have no dorks. There's not a dork on our team. There's not one kid on there that just can't play, but she's on the roster because she's learning or figuring it out. We got really good volleyball players, and even the freshmen are competing like crazy and challenging us, and it's fun. That's a good vibe to have in the gym.
How is Sarah Pistachio doing coming back from the injury? How does she look?
She looks really good, and Emma, her partner in crime, looks like a star. I mean, Emma is the baddest girl in the gym right now. I mean, she is primed to have a spectacular year. She looks really confident, and Sarah got released yesterday to play in the front row and give herself a chance to get into this lineup this year, which was awesome for us. So she looks confident. She's not completely back in shape yet, from not being able to play full-time like all of our other players are. Yeah. But we're going to give her a couple of weeks to get her crap together, and she's doing well. She's doing really well. I mean, she looks great, and she's smiling, and she's happy. She looks just excited to play. I mean, she was actually kicking people off the court today and getting on the court to compete and win some drills because she knows now, like, she can do it.
Yeah, now all the gloves are off. She can just go and play.
100%. The gloves are off. Yeah. Like, she's ready now. She was so excited yesterday to tell everybody that she was back. And now, Kaylee, I got to give a shout-out to Kaylee Roberts, our trainer, and Tremaine Johnson, our strength coach. They've been working so hard with her. We brought her back early in the summer, in June, once again to take care of her, protect her, get her back strong, and they killed it. And she did such a good job in rehab. Actually, her injured leg was significantly stronger than her non-injured leg. That's how hard she worked in the rehab process. So now she's just trying to make sure everything balances out.
So now she's got to strengthen up that non-injured leg and catch it up.
And that's real common that you hurt that non-injured leg because you just rehab the other one so much.
Grand Canyon this Saturday. It's going to be 12 noon out at Memorial Gym. This is your exhibition match before you hit the road next weekend and go to Salt Lake City for the first real matches of the year, the Utah Classic. But we all know Grand Canyon's a terrific program. It's a fun exhibition to have, and for you, it'll give you a nice little test of what to expect this season.
Yeah, and brand new coaching staff. Kendra Potts came over from West Texas A&M, where she won 2 national championships in the D2 level. She brought a good Division I staff with her, a couple of guys that I know really well, and then one that actually was a teammate of Courtney Johnson, my assistant in college, and so in club. And so she's going to do a good job. She's going to get them to play a different style and brand of volleyball, but she's going to get them to play crazy hard. And they have some transfer kids. So they brought in a couple different kids. They'll look different. They'll play a little different, but I love it. We can't wait to play it. We're so ready to play somebody else other than ourselves on the other side of the net. And it is going to be a college volleyball atmosphere right away on Saturday. And we're excited to play it, and we're going to know a lot more about ourselves when it's somebody in a different colored jersey, and they don't know anything about us really, and we don't know a lot about them. So it's going to be fun. We're all just chomping at the bit to play it.
Coach, just to talk about that college atmosphere right there, you all have done a great job of pacing for season tickets and also the individual tickets going out this season. What's that like to get the community support, especially for a team that has a lot of expectations on them?
Yeah, we're still kind of pinching ourselves a little bit about that. Like when we got here in 2019, we didn't even sell season tickets. I think we barely sold single game tickets. And 6 years later, we've sold almost 700 season tickets. And that's dumb. I mean, that's just not heard of in mid-major volleyball. It's not heard of in mid-major sports, honestly. In the women's sports world, like that's a real testament to what our players do when people come. Our retention rate is astronomical. So I'm super proud of that. Maybe more proud than anything else we've done here is the fact that we've got our fan base locked in. We got the people of El Paso really excited about college volleyball. And we're going to keep being good. So they're going to keep coming, and they're going to keep growing and wanting to see those expectations like Adrian's talking about. Like, we love the expectations. We know we want to be good. We know that people expect us to be good, and we're fine with that. We've earned that. So let's bring it.
Coach, when you talked earlier about 19 players now that you're really looking at this year, how many of those do you think have a chance to finish top 2, top 3 all CUSA when it's all said and done?
Well, if we stay healthy, which is a hard thing to do in college volleyball these days because of how hard we play and really how hard our players are playing right now, I think that we could have 3 or 4. And I know that the Conference USA preseason poll and the preseason players of the year, I think, come out tomorrow, and I've already kind of gotten a glimpse of what that looks like, so I can't tell you what it looks like. But at the end of the year, I think we could have 3 or 4 players on the first or second team, and we'll definitely have some all-freshmen. because we got a couple of young freshmen that are going to help us win. We've got 6 good freshmen, and all 6 of them are competing right now to get in the lineup, and they all do different things well. And 2 of them are going to play on our beach team too. So, I mean, we're doing a really good job in the recruiting process of getting really talented and athletic kids now, not just crazy good athletes. So it's going to be fun. It's also going to be really, really hard on me to lay my head down at night knowing that I got 19 good volleyball players and I got to put 6 of them out on the court.
It sounds to me like even though you're not involved with beach volleyball, you're still involved because they gotta they're playing for you, they're playing for Daniel. Like there's a lot of synergy between both programs.
Synergy is the right word. I mean, that's exactly what we created here when Jim asked me and Heather and Julie asked me to help build a beach program. We hired a guy, Daniel Fu, who wanted to work with me, and I wanted to work with him on bringing an environment where people can play beach and indoor if they want. Or just only beach. Like we've got more beach only players now than we've ever had, but we're still recruiting players. We have a kid coming in January that's going to enroll early. She's going to play both. So there's not a lot of other places in the country that are allowing players to do both. And so we're still one of those old school models that are still actually kind of stealing some players because of that synergy, because we're going to be able to work hand in hand, he and I are, at being able to let them do both.
Coach, I'm curious about one thing. So since you've been here, you've had a couple of deep runs in the NIVC, and you've seen this place packed, and you've seen the excitement level at a spot it's never been at before. At the same time, there's only one thing missing since you've arrived, and that's getting a chance to take this team to the NCAA tournament.
Yes, sir. I mean, that's the ultimate goal for us. I mean, that's the one we put together a list of 25 things when I got hired in 2019 that we wanted to accomplish. We've done 23 of the 25. And we actually had 24 checked off the list until we lost to Wichita State in the finals of the NIVC. We went 14-0 at home last year until we lost in the finals, and so we went 14-1. So that was be undefeated at home. Mm-hmm. So those 2 things are the only 2 things we haven't crossed off the list, and those keep us hungry. We have 17 home matches this year, and we want to go 17-0. And we are going to host the conference championships here at home, so that puts more pressure on us to be able to do another potentially 3 games that we got to win at home, to be able to do that. But that's the ultimate goal. But right now our team's got a really good, sharp mindset of let's create a team that is a championship team, and everything we do from school to our mindset. We're working really hard with Trey, actually our sports performance sports psychologist. He's doing a great job with our team. And if we can continue to do that, we're going to give ourselves a chance every year to win this sucker. But we just got to have a little bit of luck sometimes, and we were unlucky last year with our injuries, but we were still able to play at a high level. But the pieces of the puzzle have to kind of fall in place to win a championship. But our team is really hungry to do it. We're primed and we're ready, and we've had that experience. Now we've played in championship moments, and we're going toe to toe with the best in the conference. And so now it's time. Having a sports psychologist shows me how things have changed over the years, because this is something that you couldn't dream for a UTEP athletics department, even if you tried. And now the fact that you have somebody like that at your disposal, that's got to be huge. Yeah, I mean, just to know that, Trey's a part of our staff now. I mean, he's worked with our players a lot in the spring. Sports psychologists are a fickle, weird, touchy thing in sports right now, because if you're not careful, somebody can get in the brain of your players real quickly and do more damage than good, and Trey's not that guy. Trey quickly gained the trust of our players and our staff in the spring when he started to get hired here, and he actually works at Fort Bliss full-time, and then he works with the UTEP teams when he's not at Fort Bliss. Okay. And he's been impeccable. I mean, he's in all of our staff threads. He's in, our teammates love this guy, and he's really, really smart. And so now we use him a lot, and he's been very helpful. And he's going to be hopefully that little bit of a piece like Tremaine is, and like Kaylee is, our trainer that gets us over the top.
Good. I'm excited for you. What do you got planned tonight for birthday with the family? What are you going to? Is there any place you're going to go in particular, or anything like that?
Just some place that I can keep my 5-year-old daughter from burning a building down. That's what I mean? Tough. That's really the only place that I'm thinking about. Is just how can I commandeer my 5-year-old kiddo and spend some time with my boys and my wife, and then watch some video and play and practice and get ready for tomorrow, my man. You know what I mean?
It's right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
And Saturday, 12 noon.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure season tickets are still available right now if fans want to take advantage, because your first regular season home match isn't until September the 5th on a Thursday, when you welcome, I guess at that point, let me see here. I'm looking at the Borderland Invitational. There's a lot of matches, but I guess you got Southeastern Louisiana coming up on that one.
Yes, sir, and they're a conference champion. So, and in that same tournament, we have Stephen F. Austin, who's a conference champion, and we play the Air Force Academy in that tournament as well. So we've got our preseason schedule is littered with conference champions or NCAA tournament participants or Power 4 programs, and so we're testing this young team early. That's the way we're always going to do it. We're just going to play good teams, and we're going to knock some off, and we're going to learn a lot about ourselves, and so we're going to be primed and ready for conference championship level play, and it's going to be here in Memorial Gym, and so I think this season now more than ever, like to pay $85 or whatever for a season ticket and get 17 to 20 home matches is dumb. That's not heard of. I mean, you guys have got to go out and get these tickets. Everybody is. I mean, to sell 700 season tickets at a mid-major volleyball program, I think has got to be a top 5 thing in the country right now. And I got some people looking into what that is, numbers wise for attendance, but. We're going to be exciting. I can tell you 2 things that are going to always get when you come watch us play. We're going to be exciting. We got a DJ now for almost all of our matches, which is really cool. So it's going to be – our players call it Club Memorial. That's what they actually call our gym now. So everybody's talking about playing in the Dawn, and we're like, nah, man, we're playing in Club Memorial. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be loud, and you're also going to see a team that plays so hard for this city and will do anything to make sure that they leave these fans walking out of the gym feeling like they got their money's worth.
I love it. Folks, season ticket memberships are available right now. Just go to utepminers.com. You get a chance to check that out. It'll take you right to the site. And as you heard, very affordable considering all the home matches you can get and get a chance to be that. Now, in football, you're the 12th man. Mm-hmm. In basketball, you're the 6th man. In volleyball, it's
Club Memorial, man. You're with the DJ.
You're just hanging out at Club Memorial.
You're hanging out at Club Memorial, man. You're hanging with the DJ. You just walk in and you go, I'm with the DJ, and they'll let you in. You're good to go.
Love it. Come back and see us during the year, Coach. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me.
Ben Wallis joining us here on Sports Talk as we continue. Back with more right after Charlie 1 with traffic. All right, back here on Sports Talk as we continue. 28 now past the hour. Thanks to Ben Wallis for joining us. By the way, I want to thank Nelson, who got in on the show during the high school preview about Bel Air. He pointed out that Bel Air had a very strong JV last season in football with a very good kicking game. So maybe we're getting a little insider intel from our pal Nelson, texting into the show, Adrian, telling us that if some of those Bel Air JV kids come up, they'll help the transition a little bit this year.
Yeah, it'd be very helpful right there. I also wonder if Coach Gary Recorder is going to bring anybody from Riverside over to Bel Air. It doesn't happen as much in high school, but always something to keep in mind whenever there's a coaching change.
That's true. That is true. So, you know what? That could be the case. Again, as we continue here on Sports Talk, 505-6009, our telephone number. Tim Haggerty is going to join us soon for our final countdown. When we had Hags on yesterday, I can't remember. I don't think he did. Did Hags ever give Alberto advice regarding the air fryer situation?
No, he didn't.
Should we ask him today for some?
Yeah, let's do it.
What do you think? I mean, don't you feel like Tim has taken a big interest in Alberto and now almost wants to help him out, almost be there for him as like a big brother kind of role?
I think, big brother is a great way to describe it. So, yeah, I think I like that.
I can't say father figure because I'm the only one old enough to be a father figure for Alberto because he could be my kid, but not Hag. So maybe an older brother would be the best way to put it.
An uncle? So, cool uncle?
Yeah, that's exactly. Although I'll tell you right now, if my kid tells me that he's trying to, put an air fryer in and he's losing power, the first thing I'm telling the kid is go find another place to live. That's my reaction. That'd be the first thing I would tell him. Be like, get out of there. So, or call your landlord and get that thing taken care of. I wouldn't want to tolerate and put up with that. We'll see but Tim is so patient and he's so like how can I put it? He thinks things out. He tries to come up with good solutions. Maybe he's got a good answer for Alberto's situation during our final countdown.
Yeah, and we still haven't solved this one right here, so I'm hoping we get a good answer here.
Well, you know how Alberto wants to solve it, right? Bring back the air fryer.
Yes.
God forbid they rewire the place so that electrical surges don't take down the whole thing. See, now if that was me, I'd be the opposite. I'd be like, look, this is a simple, basic house appliance. I'm using this to eat. You guys have to fix this. This is not a well, I bought the wrong item. This is simply that this place is not equipped to handle what should be normal activities. You got to bring this thing up to code. That's what I would say.
Yeah, the accessibility factor on this is ridiculous, man.
I agree. I feel like you're making a huge mistake bringing this air fryer back rather than address the bigger problem at hand, which is fix your wiring on this electrical system so you don't have to deal with this for future issues.
I'm probably going to have to do that.
Well, you're not going to have to do that. You're paying rent. The person that owns the place is going to have to do that. That's their job, not yours.
That doesn't sound like fun.
What's that?
That doesn't sound like fun for them.
Well, guess what? When you live in an old, you have an old place, right?
Yeah, kind of. It's in Sunset Heights, so it's like
you live in Sunset Heights.
Yeah.
And who knows when the last time the wiring's ever been updated?
Yeah.
We could be going back to like the 30s or 40s or 50s.
There hasn't been a fire.
What's that?
Good thing there hasn't been a fire.
Well, at least with you.
Inside, yeah. God forbid.
God forbid. That's right. God forbid, Alberto. I'm with you. Well, we'll hear. I can't wait to hear what Hags has to say. Hags has he's like our 600 ESPN El Paso sage. He might have like some sage wisdom for you. You know what I mean?
I hope.
Me too. So does Adrian. All right. Before we do anything, though, let's go right back to Mr. Broadus. He's standing by with this bottom of the hour Sports Center update. All right, Adrian, thank you very much for that. As we continue, big news also, Joey Votto announcing his retirement. How about that, Adrian? 17 Major League seasons with the Cincinnati Reds, and now the 40-year-old calling it quits officially.
Yeah, I mean, somebody who had his ups, his downs, had his injuries, had his healthier seasons, durability, one of those things. But, somebody I think a lot of fans thought could have been a nice veteran help here to the kind of twilight era of his career, Steve. But, at this point, there just wasn't a lot left in the tank.
Yeah, that's true. His best days were left behind. A lot of injuries and things like that, but truly one of the good guys. And I think like Joey Votto will never be a Hall of Famer, but he'll always be in the Hall of Very Good. That player that was never quite immortal, but still one of the better players of his position during his career.
One of the other things you could say about Joey Votto is the fact that he did actually, around this time last year and the year before, he was helping out and, being a little bit of a contributor. The problem is just the injuries, like you mentioned, aging kind of player at this point.
Yeah, I'm with you. So anyway, that's still a heck of a player, and probably somebody that if he ever decides to stay in the game as a coach or manager or get into the broadcast business with his personality, he'd be so much fun. He is his personality is unbelievable, and kids love him. Everybody gravitates to Joey Votto.
It's funny because I loved all his post-game press conferences, his interviews and all that kind of stuff. He always has fun, and every time he's on national TV, he's always a gem. He always drops some funny stuff.
I saw this earlier today, and that is the college football top 25 FCS power rankings with CBSSports.com. They dropped this a few hours ago. The first thing I was looking in the top 25 was, is Southern Utah in the top 25 for CBS Sports' FCS top 25 power rankings? And the answer is no, they are not. Southern Illinois is in the FCS rankings, not Southern Utah. So we've been talking up Southern Utah all the offseason and how dangerous they could be. Adrian, fact is this. If they're not a top 25 preseason FCS team, even if they're pretty good and they come into the Sun Bowl, that should still be Scotty Walden's first win of his UTEP career, assuming he doesn't get it done a week from Saturday in Lincoln against Nebraska.
Yeah, emphasis on the should. This is the standard that we're holding this team to. Yeah, you got to go out and beat the team that you're supposed to. An FCS school. This isn't an FCS school right here in UTEP. They got to beat a team like this in Southern Utah. And I think Southern Utah will have a better season than maybe their projections are right now. But still, I mean, it's so hard to tell. I'd say if you talk about how much changes in FBS football, imagine how much changes in FCS.
That's true. That is true. So that is one to keep an eye on. Also, this story is interesting before we get to final countdown. CBS asked more than 100 coaches who they think has the best NIL program in place for college basketball. Okay? The team that received the most votes is Arkansas. Go figure that out. With Kansas number 2 and BYU number 3. What I found interesting on this list is, you know who received at least one vote? McNeese State.
Oh, yeah. Makes a lot of sense. Will Wade has built a money powerhouse over
They
there.
have.
And, the head coach, that tells you what a coach could do as far as generate interest for NIL, even at a school like McNeese, where, you look at that NIL valuation, it's probably well over $1 million.
Oh, I heard they've got NIL closer to $3 million right now for basketball. Can you believe that?
No, I do.
McNeese
I can.
State, $3 million for basketball, if that's real?
Yeah, I do believe it because it's Will Wade. He was doing NIL before NIL was legal.
Ooh, I like that answer.
Yeah, it's true, and it's been documented. That's why he's there at McNeese and not at LSU.
Yeah, well, he's getting results, that's for sure. All right, when we come back, Tim Haggerty and our final countdown. Get you ready for Game 2. Can the Chihuahuas break their losing streak? We'll ask that to Hags and get a whole lot more next as Sports Talk continues. 600 ESPN El Paso. Hoping the Chihuahuas will find a way to snap their 8-game losing streak. Hags, it's been a rough one for El Paso, and a lot of us hoping that the bleeding stops tonight in Game 2 of this 6-game set. See if we have Tim. Right now we don't. Hopefully we'll get him.
I heard him a second ago, Steve, but not hearing him yet. So
okay.
Maybe he stepped away super quick.
How the hell? We step away 15 minutes till game time. Is he still finishing up dinner right now? Is that what's going on for Hags?
Possibly so, but I don't hear him right now in the background. So
hopefully we're not having some technical issues with him. I gotta hope that he's okay. You know?
But we do have somebody who has a solution for Alberto's air frying issues.
Oh, do we really? All right, let's go to Castle. He's gonna give us the lowdown for Alberto. Castle, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, what's up, Cappy?
Hey, man.
Hey, so, all right, I'm a low-voltage technician, not a high voltage, but I do know something. So what the deal is, he's got amps. He's only got so many amps to play with on the circuit breaker.
Got
so
it.
If he unplugged his refrigerator and did the air fryer when his air conditioner's not on, that might do it.
So, in other words, you've got to make some sacrifices, and that's tough. By the way, I mean, take the fridge down for 10 or 15 minutes just to make room for the air fryer. Sounds like an interesting solution there, Castle. Alberto,
and then,
would you consider doing
not have
that?
the air conditioner on either.
Yeah, would you consider Would you basically consider turning everything else off for the air? You should try that tonight and see if the air fryer works if you turn off everything else.
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, just the things that pull a lot of amps. Don't be drying clothes and using the fridge. The TV, you got to turn off the TV.
Yep.
Unplug the fridge and have the air conditioner off. And that should free up enough amps for him to fry his fish sticks.
Yeah, but Castle, we're only talking about 1,700 amps.
But that circuit breaker, that circuit breaker only has like 20 amps on it.
So that's what it is. I got you. So yeah.
If the fridge is pulling 10 and the air conditioner is pulling 5, and then you throw that in there and boom.
Yeah. Hey, Castle, Sal brings up a good point. He's on his way to the station right now. He said, basically don't live if you want to use the air fryer.
Yeah, you don't want to do that in the microwave at work. That's a sin.
Man, that's tough. That is tough. All right, good job, Castle. Thanks for the advice on that. We appreciate you, man.
All right, later.
That's Castle's advice. I like that. What do you think, Alberto?
What Sal said, that one really got me. But no, I'm going to go home and try that today. I'm going to go home and just turn everything off, unplug everything, and in complete darkness.
You should.
Try to get some fish stick going.
Hags, are you aware of what we've been talking about the last 3 days here with Alberto?
Yeah, I'm hearing bits and pieces of it today. Power issues with his air fryer.
So here's the deal. He just bought an air fryer. He said he splurged this past weekend. And when he tried to make his fish sticks, every time, it's happened like 6 or 7 times, the entire condo loses power. His whole place shuts down from overload as he's trying to operate his air fryer.
That's frustrating. I enjoy a good fish stick. So I just listened to that call. Is that gentleman lining up with what you're going to do, Alberto, as far as shutting off everything else now?
Yeah, I'm going to turn everything off, unplug everything, and in complete darkness try to make some fish sticks.
Do you?
I hope it works.
Do you own a flashlight?
I got a flashlight on my phone.
There you go. So you can use your phone's flashlight just to walk around for 10 or 15 minutes while you're trying to heat up. And by the way, just to do this right, use the original outlet that's caused all the problems with everything else off. Everything, okay? And see if that does the trick. Because I'm fascinated. Hags, aren't you? To see if he can. All this guy wants to do is eat his fish sticks. That's all he's talked about for 3 days now.
Yeah, it's yet another adventure or misadventure with Alberto. I am fascinated. I think probably his escapades with the married Army woman probably moved the needle a little bit more for me. But, yeah, this is a good story, to answer your question.
He sent us a text yesterday at 6:25 p.m., and here's what it said. Life teases me. 3 minutes into fish sticks.